What's going on, everyone? Justin again. As always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. I have no idea, honestly, how I missed this yesterday when I was showing you guys the new Harbor Freight cell phone app, but they actually have temporarily brought back the free items, which we haven't seen in, what, the betterment of at least several months. They did away with them for a little while, if you recall, back before March and everything. With the last catalog, I think being around the October time frame last year, was one of the last catalogs that I had got going into the new year. And then of course the pandemic had hit. So somehow or another yesterday while I was showing you guys the new app, I totally skimmed right by it. You even hear me say that I wonder when they're bringing them back, and I just absolutely thumbed right past it. So we're heading back to Harbor Freight this morning so I can go get that free item. Now, I made it a toss-up. I was like, well, we usually always have a need for drill bits and even a lantern for the kids because they like the lanterns and things like that. So the wife had said, hey, why don't you just go get the lantern? So I said, okay, cool. So while we're going to go pick up our free item, I figured we'll go ahead and take a walk around Harbor Freight, see what's new, if anything. I'm sure they've developed some new stuff since the last time we did a Harbor Freight walk around, which has also been a long time back. So let's just go for a little walk around and see what they got. So that was pretty cool. Got in, checked out some cool stuff. Let's go home and talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Justin again. As always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Decided to take down a few notes so we try to stay on topic for today. But we did just get done walking around the inside of Harbor Freight and checking out all the things that are new. And then some things that I wish that they would just go ahead and develop, but all in time, right? Because obviously it costs money to make certain products in order for them to be available. So let's just give them a little bit of time. Real briefly, we're just going to touch base on the Chief die grinders and some of the other tools that Chief has developed, because I got a lot of comments based on yesterday's video of how phenomenal these products are and how much you really enjoy having them, and you couldn't really recommend a stronger air tool from Harbor Freight other than the Chief lineup. So with that being said, thank you very much for the comments about that, especially from those of you that actually own the product and have been utilizing it, be it in the fabrication world or even the automotive world. To include their Carbide bits, which you guys made mention, are absolutely phenomenal, and for the price you really can't beat it. So 2 thumbs up to you guys that commented about the Carbide bits and how much you like them. Let's jump on over here to the Icon pick and scraper set. So I'm actually kind of glad to see that they went with a pick set. I know that they had talked about it. They were kind of a little bit withdrawn in the beginning because they already had a couple of different pick sets available through the Pittsburgh lineup. So I am kind of excited to see that they have a pick set in the heavy duty platform. I would also like them to add a small pick set as well, though. I think that would be extremely beneficial to those of us that are automotive mechanics or technicians. Jumping on over to what's new with Maddox, they have a vacuum pump now. So everyone remembers the Mityvac one or even the Motorcraft one that you used to be able to pick up from CarQuest, which I don't know if they're still selling that one or what other stores are selling that particular brand. But I know that Mityvac, and again, I'll put Amazon affiliate links down below for you guys to some of the products that closely resemble some of the ones that you're going to find beneficial throughout this video. But they're now selling a vacuum pump through Maddox, which I thought looked pretty nice, and it came with lots of pieces. So if you're using this for automotive or you already own this product, I know it's relatively new, I'd like to hear some feedback on this and if you guys still enjoy it. Jumping on over to Hercules for a minute, they came out with a palm sander, which I was told by management had just come out. So I thought it was pretty cool that they now have a 110 volt palm sander in the Hercules lineup. I'm not sure if they have one in the cordless. I'd have to skim back through either the phone app or Google search it through the Harbor Freight's website. But it's cool that they actually had put out a palm sander now available to you, so you're not just stuck with that Bauer option or the Chicago Electric. Hercules heat gun. So this was kind of in the same area of the store, but we saw the Hercules heat gun. It's cordless. Oh, this was kind of a cool deal, especially if you're doing a lot with window tinting or you're a detailer and you want to remove some sticky, I don't know, like sap or tar from a person's vehicle. Obviously, be very careful when you're doing stuff like this with the heat gun because you could bubble the paint and ruin it, etc. But if you're careful and you keep your distance, I know that we've utilized those in the past for various detailing aspects. All right, jumping on over to the Icon new wrenches already on display. We saw the S-style wrenches. Those are handy in certain situations. They came out with an elbow style and metric and SAE as well. And you guys know that I love the elbow style of wrench, especially when it comes to torque converter bolts or nuts, because sometimes it's just too close to the oil pan to get any kind of ratchet in there. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also saw they have a combination ratcheting flex head in the full length. Would like to see it in a stubby version at some point. I know they have the reversible style and they have the fixed combination style, but I would like to see some kind of stubby flex head ratchet wrench option in the near future. But it was really cool to see that they have some new wrenches in development on the shelf for you guys. I would also like to see some step up or step down adapters in the impact and chrome, okay? Everyone remembers these little guys here made by Pittsburgh. I think they're like the worst adapters you can ever buy as far as the chrome version goes. I have not tried out any of the impact ones. I know a lot of guys love the impact version best, but I would not recommend the chrome version at all. So I would like to see them add step up and step down adapters into the Icon lineup, as well as universal joints. And to go a little bit further, not just universal joints in chrome or impact, but how about universal sockets, right? In the 1/4 inch, 3/8 and 1/2 inch. I know a lot of guys like myself that are in the automotive trade, especially when it comes to bell housing work and things like that, when we're moving transmissions or weird spots down in the engine bay, that a universal socket just comes in handy, and you're going to want them eventually. So I would like to see Icon go into development at some point in time and release those in the nearest future. Let's jump on over here to Yukon for a minute. So a while back, I actually did have a Yukon box. In fact, if you scroll all the way back to the very beginning of this channel in the videos, I think within the first 5, you'll see that I have a black Yukon box. I did have that for a little while before I ended up selling it. I want to say it was cheaper than the $350 that they had on the current displays. Now they had the white and they had the blue on display. I'm pretty sure they have a black. I didn't see any other color options, and I didn't focus too much on the placard to see what other color options they have. But I do think for the price, it's a pretty decent at-home toolbox to have. Doesn't take up a lot of space, but again, you're losing depth, right, of the drawer. You're losing height in certain areas. But overall, it's a nice little hobbyist box to have, and it has a little work surface for you as well. All right, let's talk about these Icon nut drivers. Now, you guys know that I'm not a huge fan of nut drivers in general. I understand their purpose. They do have their purpose in the world, whether it's DIY or even when it comes to automotive. I personally do not care for them. What I would like to know is why on the screwdrivers we have a hex option to crack something loose on the screwdrivers, but not on the nut drivers. With the nut drivers, they just went to a smooth shank, rounded smooth shank all the way up and down. There's no hex option to crack anything loose. I would have liked to have seen them incorporate that into the nut driver. Something else that I think that would be kind of ingenious for them to do if they are going to sell nut drivers and be competitive over all the other ones that are available out there. Again, nothing that I personally use, but if I saw this option, I may think about it in the distant future. But how about a nut driver that not only has like a pass-through style where the barreling and the broaching is deep enough for you to fit over studs if need be, having a hex option to crack it loose, or how about a 1/4 inch adapter on the very top, like you've seen with the other nut driver that came with the Tecton set, like you've seen with that brake tool that I have that turns into a nut driver that has an option to attach a ratchet. It would be really cool if they would do one of those two things, either put a hex on there or have a 1/4 inch adapter at the end so you can put a ratchet on there for leverage to crack something loose. That would have been really cool to see. If they went with a deeper barrel, if they went with a deeper broach, and they were able to incorporate these 2 things or 3 things into the actual nut driver, I think you're going to find a lot of people, to include myself, who are not fans of them to begin with, might end up actually buying those, because at that point, then I can definitely see many uses for them, okay? Because not only is it an extension, but it's a fastener. You can use it as a deeper shallow, and you have the ability to put leverage behind it. That would be a great idea, in my opinion. Let's go back to the polish sander / die grinder. So they make these adapters. A lot of us automotive technicians with the 90-degree die grinder have a polishing adapter that we can slide on, and 3M sells these little discs that you thread right on into the end, and you can use them whether it's with the green Brillo pad, or you use a sanding disc, or you even use the little green fingers that spin around, right, to polish and clean things up. But they have this little adapter with a smooth shank that slides right on into the die grinder that you can tighten down. These adapters don't cost too incredibly much. Most of us get them on the tool truck. I didn't see them over in the die grinding section. I didn't even see them over in the sanding and polishing section. The only one, again, that I saw was made by Chicago Electric. Like, again, with the Chicago pneumatic, they had one that threaded in, but I didn't see an option for that. Would like to see an option for it. All right, US General 72-inch toolbox, not on display. Why? Okay, so I did talk to management. They currently have removed it from the display to showcase the Yukon boxes, and because they're currently waiting for the 72-inch top that you guys have all been asking about. When are they gonna come up with it? You'd love to see it. Well, they have come up with a 72-inch top, and it's not available yet to my understanding, but it will be made available here probably in the next quarter, if not sometime later this quarter going into the next year. So those of you that have a 72-inch US General already, stand by because the top chest is coming. Okay, last thing I want to talk about, huge shout out to Saul Arona. He actually took an Apache hard case and actually turned it into a storage compartment for his Snap-on diagnostic tablet. I thought this was ingenious. Now, I saw these on display. You get them in yellow, bright orange, you can get them in black, you can even get them in the desert tan. They might have had them in olive drab, but I didn't see those. There was half the section was gone, and then there was just whatever was left. But I thought this was an ingenious idea. So instead of carrying around this huge purse-like soft case that Snap-on gives you, you could put it in a hard case, and should you want to just toss it into the truck, you don't have to worry about damaging the screen or anything like that. You got areas where you can take the little squares out and put in your test leads and the scan tool itself and the pod. So for that, I'm saying, Saul, ingenious idea. Thank you for sharing it on the Snap-on Diagnostics Facebook page. I really appreciate it. That's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. Look, hey, thanks as always for watching my channel. I appreciate it. If you liked today's video, hit the thumbs up. You didn't like today's video, hit the thumbs down. Share if you want to share. This was everything that was new with Harbor Freight that I saw today, to include a free item that I went back to go pick up because I missed it somehow during the last video. So we did pick up a little lantern for the kids for free from yesterday's purchase, and it gave us time to walk around and see what all was new. I also want to say a special goodbye to a good friend of ours, Jordan, a Harbor Freight manager that has been with us locally throughout the last few years of having this channel, who is now moving on to greener pastures. He and his family are moving up to Idaho, into that lovely state that all Californians seem to be moving to. But I wish you well. I wish you safe travels. We're going to miss you here. Natalie, you'd better stick around, Natalie, because I'm starting to lose some Harbor Freight managers, man. I want to keep you guys going. We live in a small enough area where when people come and go, we miss each other, and we hope to see each other again soon. I'm sure we're going to see Jordan again, but I do wish you a safe travel, my friend. Take care. Everyone else, cheers and deuces.